Pardon the interruption, but I'm Micheal Wilbon. Kwahi Leonard wants out of San Antonio. I wonder if either of us will ever leave this job.
I think Tony already did.
No,
I'm here.
You think he's a Shinnecock?
At a World Cup viewing party. Spain, Portugal, brother.
I'm going to bet on. I'm not a betting man, but I will bet the farm Tony's not at a viewing party. He could get to
World Cup.
Get to Portugal before he watches Portugal.
He missed out then. He missed out.
Frank. You're right about that. Welcome to PTI. Tony isn't gone for good, we don't think, but he is today. So I'm joined by our great friend from the New York Daily News, Mr. Frank Eisen.
World Cup time. That's right.
As long as there are no vuvuzelas on this show, we're good. We begin with Kwahi Leonard apparently souring on the San Antonio Spurs. Chris Haynes writes on .com about an irreparable distrust over the diagnosis of his quad injury a year ago. Our Adrian Wojnarowski cites the Lakers are the place Leonard would like to go. And others are reporting that the Celtics could also be in the mix. Frank, if you're R.C. Buford and Greg Popovich, the men who run the Spurs, what do you do now?
Yeah, you better get the best deal you can for a terrific player, former Finals MVP. Isn't this the most un-Spurs-like story that we've ever seen from start to finish?
It is. It speaks
the way
to
the whole thing was handled.
That people like us who've covered this league for a long time never associate with the Spurs.
You know, it's almost comforting. It's like every family, there's a form of dysfunction. Now every organization in sports have it. The Spurs are acting like this. So Kawhi, shocking. He doesn't want to be with the team. We knew that when you only played in 9 games and you wouldn't even be with the team on the road during the playoffs. If the Lakers can give me the best deal, I'll do that. I don't think that's going to happen. What about Boston?
All right, let's go over.
What about Philadelphia?
You raise this. Let's go to the Lakers for a second. Brandon Ingram and Kyle Kuzma are the guys. If
no all-stars yet.
I don't care. I'll look at them and the way they play in this modern game and their length, athleticism.
We're talking a top 5 player in the league that I'm trading right now.
Okay, that's right. But I got to have 2 starters.
Okay.
2 really good starters who project. The Celtics. I got to have Jaylen Brown because they're not going to give up Tatum. I got to have Jaylen Brown and I'm going after Kyrie. I want not just Kyrie. Because Kyrie's got too many injury issues. I got to have both those guys. And Philly, they don't have enough. Because I like Saric, but Fultz I'm not convinced about. The 10th pick, And I don't want to hear about the Clippers because they don't have any active player I want, even though they have 2 picks in the lottery. I'm looking at the Lakers or the Celtics as having the assets.
Let me give you a name. I'm not saying it's going to happen. R.C. Buford, the Spurs, they love Kristaps Porzingis. Big problem, though, coming off major knee surgery. Here's what we know about.
Played half the season.
And he's missed 66 games over 3 years. Here's what we know about Boston. They called the Spurs during the season.
Yeah, February.
Okay?
This past February.
Now, Kyrie, if I'm the Spurs, I'm not taking Kyrie Irving. Not that I don't think that he's a great player, but he's going to be a free agent next summer as well.
That's why I said Irving
and he's got a knee injury. You give me Jaylen Brown,
maybe
maybe another player in a
Jaylen
pick.
Brown. Not an all-star either. You mentioned
they got a lot of
Ingram
picks. They got the Kings pick next year.
Yeah, but I got to have some certainty. The Kings pick, by the way, it looks to as always. And by the way, somebody reported that the Kings were in the mix. No, the Kings aren't in the mix.
I know.
Get out. The Kings have nothing that anybody wants. So again, we're looking at Lakers, Celtics, maybe Philly. Fultz, not enough. There's too much I don't know.
No. Isn't it amazing too that when you think about the tradition of the Spurs, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Manu Ginobili,
stability,
Tony Parker. All we ever talked about was, would they play another year? Will you stick around? Here's a guy in the prime of his career. He doesn't want. They could give him 5 years, $219 million. He's going to lose out on.
Whoever's in this kid's ear, and we've heard that it's an uncle. This seems to be irresponsibly dumb.
Yeah, I think so
to
too.
me. From the outside looking in,
it's your organization.
You're the face of the most stable franchise in the NBA over the last 15 years. What the hell are you doing?
I'm going to make a quick connection. The uncle lives in South Orange, New Jersey.
Philly,
Kyrie Irving,
West
Orange, New Jersey. There's some it's always it's like a Sopranos connection.
Connections are bad.
You're right.
Leonard ought to be in San Antonio stalking another championship.
I
Instead, he's getting absurd advice.
I don't like what he's doing. All right, the World Cup opened on Thursday, but come on. The tournament really began today with the clash of 2 heavyweights, Portugal and Spain. And the match, it lived up to the hype. The final was 3-3, but the story was Ronaldo, arguably the best player of his generation. He recorded a hat trick,
including
a breathtaking free kick in the 88th minute to rescue a point for Portugal. Michael, when you saw that moment of brilliance, what did you think?
Look, I only peek in on international soccer every 4 years at the beginning of Premier League.
You were
season,
excited.
and then I check out.
I heard you screaming from your big office.
You heard me screaming. It doesn't matter what the sport is. When the best players in it on the grandest stage perform like Ronaldo did. And I like to tweak the Messi people who say Messi's the best player on earth. Why? Why?
He's up there. It's 1-2.
He ain't with this kid because he scores.
He's been to a World Cup final, though.
That's one of the great goals. I know it's only the first round. I know it's only an opener. I get that. Yeah, but Messi plays in Argentina. Messi plays in a situation where you're looking eye to eye with Brazil, eye to eye with Italy, eye to eye with Germany. Portugal, come on. He lifts his country. He lifts his team. That goal, you didn't scream too? I thought I heard you screaming in there somewhere.
I had the little office. They gave me a little cubicle. You're in the big, gigantic
God,
office.
what a goal.
Here's what you love about Ronaldo did. The 3 goals, penalty kick, and then the second goal, David De Gea, the goalie, one of the top goalies in the world from Manchester United.
Soft goal?
You have to make that save.
Yes.
But when you're down 3-2, and give, Spain.
88th minute.
Spain came back twice from being down a goal. They took the lead by the goal by Nacho, who, by the way, is Ronaldo's teammate with Real Madrid. But in the
6 of his Real Madrid teammates on the Spanish team.
Unbelievable. But that goal, the way he bent it around the wall, Sergio Busquets of Spain almost got it with his head.
Yeah.
But to do it in that moment and to get the point, this match is good. These two teams are good enough to meet in a final. If you ever had a final and the game was as exciting as this one,
you'd be thrilled.
You would be onto something.
Especially
that was
actually
spectacular. It really was.
Not a tie.
You want big players to come through in big moments? That's what Ronaldo did.
That's all I said. He's one up on Messi as we start.
Argentina plays Iceland tomorrow. Give it time.
Iceland. Come on. It's not the same.
Underdog.
Iceland. The winds abated at Shinnecock Hills today, closer to Iceland. And something closer to championship golf resumed. And the leader after 36 holes is world number 1 Dustin Johnson, who shot 67 despite playing early when the rain and wind were blowing. Just to show off, he dropped a 45-foot downhill putt on the par 3 7th that seemed to shout to the field, like Ronaldo, catch me if you can. Frank, given the way he's playing and given his lead, isn't it now DJ's major championship to lose?
I'll give you a basketball analogy. This is Golden State going up 2-0 on Cleveland. They're not going to blow this. He's not going to blow this.
I wouldn't think.
You need, at this course, you need to hit the ball in the fairway, and nobody hits it longer or straighter than Dustin Johnson. That's why he's dominating a tournament where nobody could seem to put up good numbers.
DJ had power. We've known he's had power a few years now when he was younger in the game. But now he's got a finesse. I mean, Tony sat here and said, does he putt well enough? Are you kidding me? The 45-foot downhill putt was completely a thing of beauty. It's kind of the putt you associate with Tiger, 10 years ago, or Jack in another era, or Seve. I mean, he wasn't supposed to have that. And now he's got that. He's got the finesse to go with all that power, and he seems to have a sense of the moment himself. It's his to lose.
How about the fact, now he has had 2, meltdowns kind of at majors. But here's the thing about Dustin Johnson. He has the temperament where nothing seems to bother him.
Anymore.
You could
He's
tell
evolved.
Yeah, absolutely.
People don't want to attribute that trait to him. Evolving, developing, growing, maturing. Seems to have done all that stuff. And especially at a time where, look at how many guys are just out of it who are going to wind up missing the cut today, including, with about 99% certainty, Tiger Woods. So you have a leaderboard. Yes, you have some people who can press him, but he's not being chased by like Hall of Famers, 2 through 10, Frank.
Yeah, the golfers sound a lot like you out there in the Hamptons. They've been complaining about the traffic and the golf course, the 2 issues in life. By the way, remember, Dustin Johnson, he has a tendency to win these tournaments in bunches. He won last week.
Last week he did. He was
and now he's in the lead here.
His to lose.
Yeah. All right. How would you like to be Mike Gundy today after your boss, Oklahoma State Athletic Director Mike Holder, says publicly that you can recruit better football players? Holder, the golf coach at the school for 32 years, said he would, quote, approach recruiting differently than Gundy and, quote, I'd want to finish higher in those recruiting rankings. Michael, how should Gundy and the players he recruited feel about the AD's comments?
They should walk together arm in arm to the AD's office, the coach, his assistants, and all the players, and say, Mr. AD, shut your mouth. You sound like one of these idiot boosters who's in charge every campus of the red and white or the gold and green and the scarlet and whatever, the maize and blue. Shut up. You said this guy is a hell of a coach, and he is. He's doing what needs to be done. He's bringing players apparently in that fit what they're trying to do there, and you undermine him by running your mouth. They should approach him and just let him have it.
Yeah. He actually said, I would just say, Mike, you've got to change your way in recruiting a little bit. Then he went on to say, but I don't really know
about recruiting.
I don't recruit.
Right. I was a golf coach.
Cleveland Pickens, who, it kind of acts almost like the owner of the football team.
Sort of
the athletic director is like the general manager, and now you have the coach, Mike Gundy, the winningest coach in the history of the program. If you have this problem with him, why not bring it up to him directly? Why are you going out publicly and saying stuff like this? What good is going to become of that? If I'm on the team already, I'm thinking, this is how the athletic director feels about me?
This is how he feels about
They're
my
not
coach.
Notre Dame.
Not only that.
They're not
If
USC.
I'm Gundy,
They're not Texas.
Agreed, Frank. Totally. You know what else I would do? The next phone call that comes in, I would listen a little bit more intently, no matter where it's coming from. And listen, if I even thought I would get this guy lined up, I'd be on with his agent now and say, you know what? We're in a delicate position here at State U. We'd like to look at your guy if his AD opens his mouth again.
You feel a little underappreciated with your boss saying that.
I'd be offended. I wouldn't even feel a little underappreciated.
Well, why say it publicly?
Because ADs apparently, some of them, not all of them, I think.
Say it in a burner Twitter account. How about that?
But they apparently are too close to the boosters in some of these situations.
Yeah.
This got to be backing his coach 100%.
Everyone thinks they know. Oh, yeah, we need to get better football players. No kidding. Every team needs to do that.
Man. The pivotal figure in next week's NBA draft could be a kid who played 53 minutes of college basketball. Michael Porter Jr., depending on what you believe, is either hurt again, hips this time, Frank, or overstating it to manipulate his draft position. One report has Porter not wanting to be drafted by the likes of Sacramento.
That's that team again.
Because he would prefer to slip to 7th, where the Chicago Bulls sit waiting for exactly what, if healthy, he brings. Frank, what do you think is going on with this?
All right. His agent, another Chicago guy, one of your guys, Mark Bartelstein, okay? Been in the business a million years. Pretty smart guy. He has a player who's coming into the draft with a back injury. The workout gets canceled. They're putting it out there that, oh, it was canceled because he has a hip injury. So not only do you have a back but a hip injury, there's no way Mark Bartelstein would put that out there if it were true or it could affect his draft status.
Mark's too good.
I think he's got a guarantee from a team and he wants to go there. I mentioned Porzingis before. A couple of years back, the Sixers wanted to work out Kristaps Porzingis. The agent said no, nor are we going to give you his medical information. So guess what, Philadelphia, you want to draft him?
Scare tactics.
And that's what something's going on here. It happens. It doesn't make Mark Bartelstein or Michael Porter Jr. a bad person.
No, you're doing the bidding for your client and what his wishes are. Now, and it does go on and on in the draft. Not every draft, but occasionally. And this draft is so interesting because we don't know about Michael Porter Jr. There's too much we don't know. Because coming out of high school, you thought he might have been the #1 overall pick in this draft had he played an entire season. I got a horse in this race, the Chicago Bulls. And I don't want Trae Young. I hate to even the mention of Trae, diminutive 148-pound Trae Young at a time where the NBA is long and athletic, and you got to play multiple positions. That describes, when healthy, Michael Porter Jr. I'd love to see him there playing with the guys that have been drafted already when they got the other positions largely filled, Frank. But I don't know if this is going to work.
Unless,
I don't.
What about Mark Cuban, Dallas at #5? And you mentioned Trae Young. To me, the two most intriguing players, because we don't really know what to make of them, are Trae Young and also Michael Porter Jr.
Right.
7 is the Bulls, 8 is Cleveland, kind of a big one, and then the Knicks are #9.
Unknowns.
Yeah.
In both cases.
Absolutely.
Michael Porter Jr., what should he do?
I think he has a guarantee, and he's going to either Dallas or he's going to Chicago. There's no way Mark Bartelstein doesn't have a guarantee. No way.
Too good at his job. Don't mention Dallas to me right now. Let's take a break. But coming up, we're about to see the end of the pitchers batting in the National League.
And is Marvin Bagley III the kind of player who can move new kicks? That's what the kids call them, Mike. You call them shoes.
I call them shoes. I call them expensive when my son wants them.
Oh, man, you're in that.
Costumes to see the future. Right, Frank?
This is when you know my career's taken off, folks.
Oh,
I've made it.
Goodness. All right, let's get the first one.
Hey, Mike. Hi, Frank.
What's up?
Do you see baseball going to the DH in both leagues?
Now, you know where this story comes from, Frank. It comes from Rob Manfred talking about there being some movement at the quarterly owners meetings about the National League taking the DH and incorporating it. I hate this. I can't say how loudly I hate
tradition.
This. National League owners for decades have said, no, we are a separate entity. We are the real baseball, true baseball. What are they doing now?
You know what happens, though? Last week, Tanaka, in the Interleague Series against the Mets, he hurts his hamstring. Now he's going to be out for a while. So here, pitchers are there for a specific reason.
No, but that's so rare.
But hang on. It also is going to cut down on all the different mound visits, changing pitchers, because if you have the designated hitter, how many times, like Tony La Russa, when he was managing in the National League, all he ever wanted to do, double switch, bring pitchers in.
Okay, but now this makes the game longer because you got all these situations with runs and more guys on base.
Everybody wants offense at this point.
I don't.
The pitchers are batting this season 113.
Oh, good. That's what they've always batted. They've never hit any different than that.
Can't bunt.
We're not going to resolve this. What's next?
Hi, guys. This is Mike, your intern. Do you guys see the NBA changing the one-and-done rule in 2 years?
Yes, the NBA will change the one-and-done rule in 2 years. It'll go to at least 2 years in college. I mean, the NCAA, the rule doesn't work for the college game. It doesn't work for the NBA, folks, because you look at all the players that come in, they have to redshirt. They're not going to a baseball or a hockey situation where you get to be drafted out of high school and you got to do something for 3 years. They're not ready to do that, Frank. So if it moves, it's going to go to 2 years, not high school.
Wait. So you're making the age requirement different then? Now
yes.
No.
Absolutely.
No. What they're going to do is they're going to draft players out of high school, and we're going to maintain your rights. You either come to our team if you're good enough to play on the main team.
That's what I said. Or you go
to the.
That's the smart rule.
What they're going to do.
You meant that's the smart tact. They're not ready to do that. It's going to take a lot more negotiation.
The union is going to want players now. Going to have it so players have to stay in for 2 years. They want the clock ticking on their rookie deal.
Yeah, but they got to give up some concession, and the concession is, much like the baseball rule, okay, either you come in as a high school senior or you go back into the pool, meaning college or the G League or wherever you want to go, Spain.
I'm going to maintain your rights, so if I draft you out of high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fine. My point is you're not going to have a bunch of high school players actually playing on a roster in the NBA.
No, you won't. But every year, like when LeBron came out and Kevin Garnett and Kobe Bryant, it worked out for them. Yeah, there'll be a handful of guys that can do it. Why not?
Browns, and there's handfuls of guys who can't do it.
Mike, the intern, get me my coffee. Light, no sugar.
What's next?
Hey, Frank. Hey, Mike. Do you all see Marvin Bagley moving a lot of Pumas in the future?
Well, this comes up because Marvin Bagley apparently has signed a 5-year deal worth $2 to $3 million a year, which is a nice chunk of change. All right, but the fact is, big guys don't move shoes, and they never have. Shaq moved a few shoes. Yao Ming had a different circumstance, moved a few shoes, some inventory. Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, Iverson, Rose, Durant, Kyrie, Curry, even Paul George. These are the guys. Steph Marbury, your guy. They move shoes, jump higher, run faster, be a better athlete. Big guys don't convey that.
If you were growing up in New York in the 70s, the essence of cool was Walt Frazier, Puma, Clydes.
Yeah.
All right.
Marvin Bagley going to the Knicks?
No. But
any ties to New York?
I think Marvin Bagley is a sly dog. Rihanna is a Puma. She's endorses the sneakers.
Okay, fine.
As is Jay-Z.
I'll buy the Rihanna version.
It's the first time anybody's had Pumas that they've tried to get into the basketball market in 20 years. Vince Carter was the last guy.
Didn't they need a guard? Don't they need
Eventually, you got to start somewhere, Mike.
Maybe they need
You're getting a guy who's going to be a top pick.
Maybe Trae Young should have been there.
When he plays for the Bulls.
The phone lines are closed. Let's take one last break, but still to come. Corey Kluber has an amazing streak going. Is it going to continue tonight?
Trae Young to the Bulls, and is it significant? Lamar Jackson spent the day with the Ravens' first team.
Doing what? Throwing the ball or catching the ball? How do we know that?
Getting ready to take Joe.
Hey there, Kevin Nagani with you, coming up on SportsCenter after PTI. The very latest surrounding the developing news that Kwahi Leonard wants out of San Antonio. We'll get the why and which team is at the top of his list from Adrian Wojnarowski and Brian Windhorst.
Time to get happy, people. Happy 26th birthday, Mo Salah. Egypt was trying to sneak through their first World Cup game today without Salah, who has an injured shoulder, and without a loss. And the Egyptians nearly did it, but gave up a goal in the 89th minute to Uruguay. Sergio Ramos should have been suspended for dragging down the Liverpool star, who Egypt hopes is back for the next game against Russia.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking to see him sitting there not being able to play. He was the player of the year in the England Premier League this season.
Suspension, you agree with me, right?
Definitely should have been suspension.
Happy anniversary, Tiger Woods. On this day 10 years ago, playing with a stress fracture in his leg, Tiger sank this putt on the 72nd hole to force a playoff with Rocco Mediate. And then the next day, Tiger sealed the deal and won what is his last major. Without actually knowing it at the time, golf started backsliding down the hill that day and is still trying to climb back.
You and I watched this together in the press room at Staples Center before Game 5, Boston Lakers.
Much bigger
Just
deal.
like yesterday.
Much bigger deal. Happy trail to the big leagues for Miguel Sano. The Twins are sending their young slugger to single A. He's hitting only .203 with 7 home runs this season after 28 home runs in just 114 games last season. Very importantly, Sano seems to be totally on board with what the Twins are calling a holistic plan, where he's not just going to get some AAA hacks and rush back to the bigs.
Hey, it's the minor leagues. What difference does it make what level it's at? By the way, 21 home runs at the break last season, then he's in the home run derby. Is it the curse of the home run derby? Never good.
One small clarification. I said Trae Young weighs $148. Weighed 178 allegedly after 4 or 5 meals at the combine.
He had a big lunch.
We're running out of show. Let's get to the big finish. Lamar Jackson took every first-team snap on the last day of mini camp. This can't be significant, can it?
Nah, it'll be significant week 2 if Flacco's struggling. All right, Yankees rookie Gleyber Torres has already hit 13 home runs. Can he keep it up?
And that little bogus ballpark is bigger than the minor league ballparks he had fewer home runs in. Morocco lost to Iran on an own goal in extra time. Your thoughts, Frank?
Oh, it's terrible. They got Portugal, then Spain next. That's a killer. The Astros have won 8 in a row, and they have taken back first place in the AL West. Is this for good?
Maybe not for good, but they got a surprise, and they're better than Seattle. Last one, Corey Kluber hasn't walked a batter in 43 innings. Well, that streak continued tonight against the Twins.
He's been great. It's not going to continue, but he
Not
does
going to
get the win
continue.
tonight. Absolutely. But he's been great. And he was at the final game. All right, we're out of time. Thanks for watching. I'm Frank Isola.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Have a great weekend, Knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple Podcast.
Messi tomorrow, Iceland.
PTI.